Good morning, good afternoon, perhaps good night. I hope you all have some of the good stuff and are having a great Saturday morning. Welcome to the show, and shall we, well, let's pour a bit of fresher. And let's get ready. As my cup says here, the adventure begins now. The adventure of Saturday. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. That always tastes even better whenever I'm here on my boat. So welcome everybody to the Spirit of Amsterdam. That's the name of my ship, and I'll show you guys around in a little bit. But I thought I'd want to dive right in because we have some epic news. There is a major lead change in the Vendee Globe because let's see, yeah, so linked out, so Tomas Ruyant has in the night overtaken Alex Thomson. My gosh, the more eastern route, despite showing, maybe a little bit less wind, has paid off. It's interesting to see that Jean Le Cam, right on his heels, also very definitely taking the shortest path also. And yeah, officially Ruyant has overtaken Alex, and it also doesn't seem, if I look at the weather on the tracker here, that yeah, Alex is in any real way in a very favorable position. He's quite a bit more to the west, but and it does look like there's going to be more wind, but I don't know if it's going to be such a difference as say for the wind that will translate really into regaining that lead again later. But on the other hand, I trust that Alex knows what he's doing, so we'll see. But super happy and really cool achievement, so congratulations to Thomas for that. And also very interesting, I noticed, actually let me bring you in here. So here we have the leaderboard, but when we scroll up to take a look at what Jeremy Bijou is doing, we can see that he has made a lot of great progress because of the much more favorable wind conditions. As you can see, has been able to take a very favorable path so far. And yeah, we can see of course Global 1 still struggling with the sail. I think it's repaired now, he's more or less on his way, but still very slow. And then we have Art at Finetras here, who was also late, finally meeting up with the rest of the boats. We have the non-foiling end of the fleet here in the back. And it looks a lot like Jeremy is very much on his way to catch up with the back of the pack, probably in, well, maybe 3 or 4 days. So that could be quite interesting if he gets, because they're quite in an unfavorable position as far as the wind goes. They're all in a big lull and kind of stuck in the doldrums. So if Jeremy has his moment here, I'm not making any bold predictions here, but if Jeremy has his moment here and has a little luck, it's not unthinkable that 3-4 days from now he's going to be, well, let's see who's here. This is yeah, he's probably going to be around position 20 something, and then he's going to be able to start making his way back. And I think that's interesting in a way. I mean, a comeback story, it always has something to it. And I think that if you're in sports yourself, if you're behind because of some kind of accident, like what happened to Jeremy, of course, and you're forced to make your way back all alone, it really has that kind of Rocky Rambo feeling of there's only one thing, you have everybody ahead of you, so you don't have anybody to worry about behind you, so you can have your full focus on the rest of the pack. And that's interesting. Could you imagine if Jeremy managed to still finish, let's say, in the top 10 or in the top 5? Like, what an amazing story that would be, right? And I think considering the build-up of the field, the wide speed difference between the kind of subclasses of Amaka within the fleet, that it's absolutely not impossible that that would happen. So yeah, I imagine that Jeremy is feeling really good right now, you know, despite the loss, and is you know, very motivatedly fighting his way back. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the spread isn't that big. I would say that, you know, between where Jeremy is now and where the rest of the fleet is, there is, you know, 4 to 5 days between him and the middle of the fleet, and probably 3 or 4 more between that and the start of and really the leaders. So, you know, with an overall difference of 8 days on a race that is taking still at least something like 65, oh sorry, not something like 55, it's very, very possible that he still fights his way back. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but I just wanted to draw your attention to that. You know, we talked about the doldrums, and so we can see that the fleet, including Medallia here with Pip Hare, is most definitely stuck in that. So a little bit as I predicted, that we would see a giant gap between those boats that that get stuck in there and those who kind of made their way through in that favorable window that Alex and the rest of the leaders also made it through in. And you know, as you can see, the doldrums much more active now, so you can see that this entire patch between the two continents now full of this very light variable wind going every which way. And yeah, they're pretty much stuck there, and that might take a while. I mean, this can take days. We'll get into the weather prediction of exactly how long that might take later. It also seems that the second fleet of foilers is making some headway. They're slowly on passing Jean Le Cam right now, but the distance between the 3 men in the head and the rest of the fleet, you know, behind, seems to be getting a little bit shorter. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe at some point, with all of the foilers kind of coming into their own, the circumstances, the wind, you know, favorable really to all of them now and over an extended period, so they're really able to push the boats hard. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe that will come together a bit more, and the race will open up and widen a little bit like that. Now, I mentioned yesterday that soon I'll also start reporting on some of the goings on in the America's Cup. And for those of you who don't you know about that, I wanted to take a minute, since this is the Saturday show, so we have a little bit more time, to tell you about the America's Cup, and you know, get you a little bit also maybe enthusiastic about that, because this is a really cool sailing race. It's also highly technology driven, and I think many of you, if you haven't ever followed that, will really enjoy it also. So I showed you a little clip of, you know, what the boats look like yesterday. This is like the new rendition of the America's Cup boat, basically. But the thing about the America's Cup mostly is that it's a straight up duel. So this isn't a race where we have lots of different people contesting. I mean, there is kind of a pre-race, let's say, which is, you know, part of the whole spectacle, which is the America's Cup Series, where we have several teams battling each other. But the point is that the winner of that series goes on to challenge what is called the Defender. The name, yeah, it's just such a cool thing, such a cool tradition, and so that's the winner from the last edition, and the Defender then you know, will go head to head with the Challenger, you know, which is the winner of, you know, this year's America's Cup Series, and those two are going to duke it out, and there can be only one winner, of course, which who then becomes the Defender for the next rendition. And as a Defender, they get to set the rules for the next edition. And so we see now a steady tradition throughout the years of Defenders every time raising the bar on technology and, you know, challenging the field to get into yet different, you know, more advanced, you know, ways of sailing, let's say. And throughout history, if we look at the race, we see all kinds of different designs, kind of ending with the foiling catamarans of the last editions, and now with New Zealand kind of in charge of the cup as the Defender, we see that they are, you know, making these radical different boats, again, with just a very different different type of foil, which is the first kind of monohull fully flying boats, and yeah, I think it's going to be really spectacular. The speeds of these are absolutely insane. Now, how this race came to be, kind of a really beautiful tradition in a way. They were having a race around the Isle of Wight, organized by the Royal Yacht Squadron, and if you don't know, that's one of the, if not the most famous yacht clubs in the world, most prestigious, long-ranging historical yacht club in the world. And the schooner that won the race was called the America, and so they took the cup home, and that was the beginning of a long winning streak, where literally every couple of years, they would be challenged for the cup, they would race for the cup, and America just kept winning. I'm not entirely sure, but I think they won it something like 100 years in a row, and so this was the cup really that America couldn't lose, and then finally they did lose it, and it became more of a worldwide race with different defenders from time to time, but also regularly America winning back the cup, and so it became this wonderful cultural feud, let's say. And yeah, if you want to really dive into the whole culture of it and kind of experience it in a very cool way, there's this beautiful movie called Wind that is made about the moment that this race was first lost by America. And yeah, you should definitely watch it. It's very interesting, and it will show you a lot about what goes into a race like this behind the scenes, and the people involved, and the time and the effort, and everything about that.
Go for it right now.
So yeah, I would highly recommend getting into that, watching that movie, and yeah, look forward to some really cool content also on this channel about the America's Cup in the Now, almost going to show you the boats, but first let's get into the weather prediction for the next few days, because it looks really like this is going to be very difficult over the next 4-5 days. Let's go in here and I'll show you what I mean. So you're looking at the field right here. This is more or less the position that the leaders are at right now, and oh, let's go to the time. So this is the time right now. This is more or less where they are, and as the race progresses, it looks very interesting, because look at this. So right now still seems to be moving quite an okay direction, but already right now here in the lower end we can see, look at this blue band here, that something is starting to develop, and look how that keeps going on as we move into Sunday. So now we're on the edge of Sunday and Monday, so this is Monday 2 o'clock at night, and you can see we have this kind of ridge right through the race course. And so right now we have our race more or less there. They're going to be, moving down, and more or less going to be forced, because of the system on this side, to follow this ridge line, and will end up, around Monday morning, probably somewhere around here. And now comes the real challenge. See how this develops over Monday. So enough wind essentially to carry them that way if they wanted to do, and they have to, because you have this large doldrum opening up to the east, but then we see this long ridge line open up, and it doesn't get any better from there, because this other ridge line that we saw earlier is also opening up in a massive way, and it's just becoming this huge doldrum. Now remember at this moment what I said in the beginning of the show about Jeremy maybe having a chance still to catch up with the rest of the field, and that the race is long. What we're looking at right here, this can easily be a 3, 4, maybe 5 day delay, where you know, even the group in front of the race could get stuck in this. You know, get stuck in the first doldrum, then sail for a little bit, get stuck in the second doldrum, and as this goes on after Tuesday, so look how this develops, you know, just stays right there all through Wednesday, and it's only, you know, when we get to sort of Wednesday morning, we see some, you know, possible paths through, but also several areas where they would really have, you know, the wind against them at that point. So you'd hope that by now they're somewhere right in the middle of this whole spaghetti. And yeah, to the east doesn't look good, to the west doesn't look good, and so to have to maneuver through all this to finally end up somewhere in here, that's the type of thing that can, if you're especially unlucky, easily take, you know, 3-4 extra days. And, you know, with Jeremy from the back probably having very good wind, very favorable conditions to run through, it will be interesting to see how this will affect, I think, the entire fleet, because the second fleet of foilers is also going to kind of catch up with the leaders because of this system. So when I look at the weather right now, I actually think that there literally is no really good way through this, because all of the predictions 4 or 5 days away of such a chaotic system is just impossible to really calculate your way through that, right? So they're going to give it their all, they're going to try their best, but a lot of this is going to come down to luck and being in the right time and in the right place. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but it almost looks to me like a certainty that Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, we're going to see everybody compact and fight through this very, very difficult, very, very patchy system. So that's my prediction for the next few days. And for the people that are watching in the virtual race, yeah, I don't really have much of an advice other than so this is the picture on Monday around noon, that basically we have this ridge in the picture, and really the furthest down this ridge you can get, the farther you can get down, the more distance you can make, the better. So they should really put you know, the pedal to the metal to get, you know, as close to this this ring as it starts to develop, and kind of be into it as soon as possible, and maybe still get through there before the first one opens up, and then they might, just might, be able to avoid the first one, and you know, then obviously it will be a good beat to get to the second one, which, you know, I don't think that anybody's going to be able to avoid that, but seems like there might be a way through somewhere in this sector, but it just looks absolutely horrible, this. But that would be my advice. So you know, try to get as much to the east along that ridge as possible, and then well, southeast I should say, and then try to fight your way through the first lull before it really opens up into a giant doldrum, and then the only real problem still left is the second one, and yeah, I have no idea how, I have no strategic advice on that yet, so do with it what you will. So the moment is here. Are you guys ready to see the Spirit of Amsterdam? I queued up a few very summary shots for you first, because right now it's winter in Amsterdam and it's really rainy and gnarly and grey outside, so I wanted to show you a few shots, you know, of what the boat actually looks like, you know, when we're in more beautiful weather, and then we're gonna go outside and I'll show you around. Ooh, nice shot, honey, this. With the sun like that. Really nice. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous lighting. Fun times. So as you can see, in the summer it looks really nice, and I usually have like the tent up here, and we have lots of, you know, like things to make it very comfy. But right now it's a gnarly, winterish situation in Amsterdam. Everything is green and gray, as you can see, but I'll still show you guys around. So this is the cockpit. This is the center cockpit. My boat is a Jeannot Ginfees 38, so it's about 12 meter. It's actually factually somewhere between the 37 and 38. So when you look for these boats, they're sometimes called 38, sometimes 37, because they're kind of right in the middle. But it's about 12 meters long, and you know, I'm standing on the back right now. You can kind of see it has a pretty extensive back section also. So we have the solar panel there for when we're on anchor, and of course the dinghy engine. And the mast is about 18.5 meters high. And as you can see, we have a lot of winches in here. So we have 4 primaries here, because this boat is actually, it's a sloop rig. But we have a removable inner forestay. I'll show you guys. So if I walk up front here, you can see already there the attachment point for it. So if you saw my video with some explanation about the sail, so this is where I hook up the removable inner forestay, just like the forestay there, and then I can put an extra jib between you know, the jib that I already have up, or if I have a Jeannot up or whatever, I can put an extra head sail. So I have my halyard that I do here for the main, and it's also the halyard for the stay, for the inner forestay, and everything else is led to the cockpit. So that's pretty convenient for hoisting and arranging everything. I don't really have to do anything else at the mast, which is kind of pleasant. So this way you can see the back a little bit. Center cockpit, very nice. The cockpit's very large, so you can sit about 10 people here very comfortably, and the back also has kind of cushions and stuff, so it's very spacious for sailing, very comfortable. Here in the back is kind of like we have some pillows and stuff, and it's actually a huge you know, bunk with like a 3-person bed, or a very, very large 2-person bed, so that's kind of nice. And as you can see, we have the winch here. That's for hoisting all of the different head sails, Jeannots, etc. This is also for doing the main, so that's the main chute. And we have 2 primary winches here. That are one, you know, for the Jeannots and big jibs, etc., and the second one whenever I'm flying some kind of jib 2 or jib 3 as a staysail. So that's kind of the setup. Pretty basic, but she sails really, really nice, really, really fast also. So now let's move inside. And well, you can see my my workstation right there, with the weather still open. And here is the kitchen, very nice, big fridge in there, of course water and everything, all the comforts, all the creature comforts of home. We have a sea berth in here, so actually like that, I'll see you guys. So that's a long bed that's especially suited for sleeping in when you're at sea. And of course we have the table here. And then if we move backwards, we have here the toilet. Like we have toilet behind me here, and we have you know, wash, shower, etc. And here we have the V-berth, which I'm mostly using as a sail locker. I'll stand back a little so you can see better. So that's pretty much full with all our different stay sails, etc. Right now I think I have about 7 different sails with me, because I like to, you know, mess around and change the sails and kind of see if I can push that little bit extra speed out of the boat. So here you see the kitchen again. It's really quite nice. And also nice to see, so I have here of course my chart table. And I have everything run to an iPad basically, and so when I am standing there, I can at any moment kind of look in here, and I have all the data on here, and I can also take it outside if I want. So that's kind of nice to have that way. So that's my ship. I hope you like the short introduction tour. And yeah, so here I'll be doing some videos soon to show you guys how to sail, get you into the basics, and also some of the more advanced stuff, and kind of how I do different things when I'm actually solo sailing, raising and lowering, and doing all the maneuvers and stuff, to really get into the nitty-gritty and show you how everything works. We'll save that for a future soon to come first video, when I'll do like a first sailing lesson on this boat for you, actually sailing it and showing you how everything works while we're on the way. So look forward to that. Thank you for taking the tour anyways, and yeah, I guess that's it for today. I hope you have an amazing Saturday. Make sure to like, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell, and if you want to support back the channel and help me bring this series, how to learning to sail, to life, that's one of the things, please become a backer, supporter. Go to the website seawolvestv.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.